check out this week's video commentary. This past Sunday, we began a short 3-week series called Next, where we are looking back to see what God has done in the past, looking in to see how God is working in the moment, and then looking ahead with hope to where God may be leading you or his people in the future. I invite you to go back and review the sermon from this past week. If you weren't able to be a part of our worship experience, you can view that on demand to really get the context and the full information from Joshua chapter 4, and also a reference that was made to 1 Peter 2, verses 1 through 4. And it's those verses that I want to make a comment on today, just to give you a little bit of an encouragement. 1 Peter 2, 1 through 4 says this: "So put away all malice." That should cause you to really get the full understanding of this verse, to go back and read verse 1. Chapter 1, He's building off of what's already been stated. "Put away all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander. Like newborn infants, long for or crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up into salvation, if indeed you have tasted that the Lord is good." Pause. Looking back requires me to reflect upon the goodness of God in the past. That should crave me for more in the moment and should influence my decisions and the way that I live. Here in verse 1, it's okay, so put away some things in some of your conduct and your behavior that are not Christ-like. Instead, drive to understand him more and crave his word, and be thankful for what he has done. Then, verse 4, as you come to him in this pursuit and chasing after Christ, which I hope is woven into your heartbeat as a believer every day. Who is he? He is a living stone, rejected by men, put in the sight of God, chosen and precious. So he is a reflection of the glory of God. He is a living stone, and this is part of the sermon, is this monument, so to speak, to remember what he has done as a sign of God's faithfulness, of his reconciliation, that he has sent his son Jesus as a ransom for us, the beautiful story of the gospel, so that we can be reconciled or made right with God. I deserve God's wrath, but through God's faithfulness, he sent his son Jesus as a living stone so that I could be made right with God. Then there's a challenge for you and I. You yourself, like living stones, are being built up as a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. The challenge for you and I today is reflecting on the faithfulness of God in our life, being thankful as we reflect on Jesus as this living stone, and then evaluating in the moment, how should I then live? Craving as a newborn craves milk, to grow into Christ, to understand the fullness of who he has created me to be, so that I can live as a living stone. And what is that living stone? Hearkening all the back to the concept in Joshua chapter 4, so that when people see me in my life, it is a reflection of the glory of God. They see him and they're drawn to understand him more. Here's a question. When people see you and interact with you every day, the way you live, the way you speak, the way you treat others, simply your attitude and your countenance, does it cause them to desire to know God more? To ask questions of, how do you find hope and peace when everything's crazy around you? How do you maintain a positive outlook and attitude when everything seems to be falling apart? And the answer is because of our bedrock anchor in Jesus. He is the stone on which we can have security. I hope that encourages you today. Again, this is just a thought to prime the pump. I encourage you, study the rest of 1 Peter chapter 1 to get context of where those 4 verses come from. Read the rest of 1 Peter chapter 2 to see furthermore how God wants you to live every day as a living stone for him. God bless you. Check out our website at calvaryga.com for more on this and about our church. We'd love to serve you more faithfully. See you soon.